Hello everyone and welcome back to Cinema Lives episode 2, and today I'm going to be covering Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. I went to see this the other day at AMC Alderwood here in Seattle, and that's actually in Linwood, and I took the train up there and this was also part of my AMC Stubs 99-cent deal that I mentioned last week, and I saw The Bride in IMAX. So at AMC Alderwood, the IMAX seems to be a lot better than the one at Regal Thornton Place, which is where I actually worked for the Christmas season and went to a bunch of times. But that one is like a IMAX for sure. It's not worth watching anything in IMAX there, but the one at AMC Alderwood is pretty good. Yeah, so I watched The Bride and I enjoyed it. It wasn't something that like blew me away, but I really like Jessie Buckley's performance. I think she does veer into maybe too over the top at times. I mean, over the top is part of the style of the movie, but I think, and I wouldn't necessarily blame her, but I would blame maybe the direction for taking her a little bit too far. The parts where she's too far seem to be the Mary Shelley parts, which kind of bookend the movie and are towards the middle of the movie too, but just like, throughout kind of narrate the movie. The Mary Shelley stuff, who Jessie Buckley also plays Mary Shelley, that stuff is really over the top. But yeah, but even I still enjoyed some of the overtopness. It reminded me of Possession. It takes from a lot of movies. I've heard people compare it to Joker and Joker Folie à Deux. You could definitely make those comparisons. Even the Frankenstein, played by Christian Bale, who goes by Frank, and The Bride, played by Jessie Buckley, that's kind of like, Joker and Lady Gaga, or Harley Quinn and Joker Folie à Deux. And you get musical sequences, and that kind of, there's one that's putting on the Ritz, which is in Young Frankenstein, and the movie ends with the Monster Mash. So they're definitely nodding to like very classic Frankenstein tropes. But I enjoyed the musical sequences. I don't know, even though it's a little derivative, like I thought Christian Bale's performance was good. I thought Jessie Buckley was great. I thought the cinematography was good. It seems to be the whole team that was behind Joker. Like, it's the same cinematographer, Lawrence Shear, and Hilder, I forget her last name, but the person who, her first name is Hilder, and she did the score for Joker and Joker Folie à Deux. She also does the score in this one, The Bride. So yeah, a lot of the same people working on it, and it's a Warner Brothers film. But yeah, I don't know, like, I like Frankenstein stories. I like horror. And some of the political or sociological themes I've heard people complain about, but I don't think, like, I don't know, I'm perfectly fine with them in this movie. They didn't seem too over the top to me. I liked what the movie was trying to say, and while I didn't think it was something incredible, I thought it was definitely watchable and fun. So I would give that a 3.5 out of 5. And yeah, so to move on to some other stuff I watched, I also watched Lincoln. That was a rewatch. I just felt like rewatching Lincoln for some reason. Directed by Steven Spielberg from 2012. And yeah, like I enjoyed it a lot more. I haven't seen it in like almost 15 years or 14 years or however long it's been. I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I didn't love it at the time, but I think I might have been a little too clouded by how young I was, and that I found it kind of boring. I think, how old would I have been back then? Like, I think I was like 19. I just turned 19. I might have even been technically 18 when I watched it. But rewatching it now, I think the performances are great. I think Daniel Day-Lewis is fantastic, as pretty much always. And the sheer amount of character actors in this that just keep showing up in scene after scene after scene, it's crazy. I mean, a lot of them weren't known at the time. You have people like Adam Driver popping up, who wasn't really known back then. Who else? Coleman Domingo, who is at the beginning. Then you have like John Hawkes. You have Tim Blake Nelson, who was known. John Hawkes would have been known too. You of course have bigger people like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I thought was good. And then you have like Sally Field, Tommy Lee Jones, who's fantastic in the movie. You have Michael Stuhlbarg. It's an amazing cast. And yeah, I just think it's a really good script. Like, I love how it focuses in on this certain part of Lincoln's presidency being trying to repeal slavery and abolish slavery. And even when it sort of feels indebted to cover the assassination, they do it in a really clever way at the end, not necessarily showing it, but talking about it. And yeah, I think it's one of the last movies that Spielberg made, or most recent ones, that really feels like truly classic Spielberg. It's a great script. It's amazing performances. And it's cinematography from Janusz Kaminski. It looks great, in my opinion. Classic John Williams score. It feels like true and classic Steven Spielberg. And, I'm down to watch it again. Not immediately, but I would definitely watch it again many times. For the rest of, until I die, I would say I might watch Lincoln 3 or 4 times after this for the next, hopefully, 50 years I have left, or maybe less than that, but we'll see. Yeah, anyway, I enjoyed Lincoln. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it was like a 3.5 when I first saw it, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a 4.5. I also saw a movie called Dead Mountaineers Hotel at the Beacon here in Seattle. And that's a really cool little indie theater that I found out was only built in 2019 from some people who were one guy was a Alamo Drafthouse programmer formerly, and the other was a promoter for a Blu-ray company. But I guess I don't know if they're from Seattle or new here, but maybe they're from here. But they in 2019 opened a theater called the Beacon, and it's a really small but cozy and nice little theater that has some cool film books and stuff in the lobby, and they have an arcade machine and lots of cool merch of theirs. And then they have a little popcorn stand, and then they have their cool the screening room where all the movies happen. It's a one-screen theater, and it's small. It kind of feels like a micro cinema, but it's still worth going there. I definitely have an interesting experience every time I go. Like I said, this one I saw this time was Dead Mountaineers Hotel, and yeah, I'm forgetting the guy's name. I think it was Gregor Kromanov who directed this, 1979. It had a restoration that was put out by Deaf Crocodile, which I believe their Blu-ray was distributed by Vinegar Syndrome through one of the sub-labels, I think being Deaf Crocodile. And yeah, it's written by, it's based on a book by the people who wrote Roadside Picnic, which Stalker is based on. And this one is also based on a different book by those same authors. And it's about a man going out to a sort of weird, mysterious hotel in the Alps and researching or investigating some murders. And they sort of turn out to be, linked to weird, sort of surreal sources. And there's questions of aliens or robots or androids that come up. And it was a very surreal experience. I enjoyed it. It was a little slow, but it was only 84 minutes, so it's fairly, you can definitely watch it. I wouldn't say it's an easy watch. I wouldn't just put it on any time, but it's definitely doable. And the one I did love the score. The music in it is fantastic, and the music was big and loud in the theater I was in, and that was great. And yeah, so while it was a little bit of a slow burn, it didn't really blow me away. I'm definitely glad I saw it. And I would recommend checking it out, especially if you're a fan of stuff like Stalker, or, sort of Eastern European cinema. It's an Estonian film. I think the only Estonian film I've seen, possibly. Yeah, but I would give it a 3 out of 5. And then I also watched at home a movie called Very Happy Alexander, which I just sort of discovered on a whim. I think this movie is directed by Yavis Robert from 1968. And yeah, I found out about it. I was just sort of researching comedies because I wanted to watch comedies that I hadn't seen. And I found this, and it's about a guy who is sort of has an overbearing wife who makes him work really hard on this farm that they have. And she ends up dying. And after she dies, he sort of just decides, he's been working so hard, he's just gonna stay in bed for as long as he possibly can. He ends up staying in bed for months. And he has this little dog who he has helping him with all his chores. He has the dog bringing him food. He does this pulley system over his bed where he can pull down food. He can pull down a tuba that he ends up playing. It reminded me of Freddy Got Fingered, where Tom Green has the "Daddy, would you like some sausage" machine over his piano. But it was a really fun movie. So he tries to stay in bed for as long as possible, but his town sort of revolts. It's a small French town, and they feel like he's spreading a not good attitude and that it's immoral to not work. And people are finding out about this, and they don't want to work either. And so they're trying to stop him. They're trying to get him out of bed. That's the conflict. But yeah, it's a fun comedy. It's pretty sexist and dated in the way it's written. But in terms of just the comedy of it, I love the stuff with the dog. Any movie that has a dog heavily featured is a bonus for me. And yeah, I thought it was fun. I wouldn't say it was fantastic. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I would recommend checking it out. That's Very Happy Alexander from 1968. So that's sort of it for the movies I wanted to cover. Trying to do this as a weekly thing, and also in my podcast feed, which you can now find on Apple Podcasts. If you just look up Cinema Lives ! You should find my podcast. It should say a Jules D podcast. And so sort of every week I'm releasing a new episode where I cover some new movies I'm watching, on top of some older stuff I'm watching as well. And also I'm re-releasing from the vault weekly some old episodes I've done on my YouTube channel, which you can look up. I'm trying to update that to Cinema Lives as well, but right now it's under Jules D. So yeah, check out my YouTube. And yeah, I'm sharing in the podcast feed some old podcasts I've done, just to have lots of content in there for you to check out. And you can also go to my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel and the show. That's patreon.com/cinemalives. And that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye.